Okay, so sorry. Keep going.
So we are basically what we're doing is we've taken it to a different level. We actually take the bees and to the people that order bees off of Amazon. Let's just say that's one of our selling platforms. And we deliver the bees to them. By doing this, they know that, number one, they've got live bees. Because when you ship it USPS or UPS, sometimes they don't come live. They're live when they leave their warehouse, but once they get there, they're not any longer.
Wait. I'm so sorry. Back up 1 second. So you were saying about, so the bee population is decreasing, and then you went into shipping bees. I think I missed something in between.
I'm sorry. It's because we got turned around.
Yeah.
Okay. She's going to continue on with the bee population.
Okay, so there's multiple reasons why the bee population has decreased over the past 10 or so years. One of the main issues is pests like varroa mites and hive beetles. And then we have colony collapse disorder, which is the scientists haven't actually figured out what it is exactly, but pretty much half the hive turns against the queen and kills the other half that's still following the queen. It's complete anarchy whenever that happens.
Wow.
And then one of the other issues is crop dusting and pesticides, which is something that as a corporation we have had a hard time with. People crop dusting, which in essence ends up killing our bees, And so we are at the head of this movement to kind of stop the decimation of the honeybee population. And to do that, we sell local honey nationwide to kind of raise awareness, if you will. And we also sell honeybees through platforms like Amazon and our own website to encourage backyard beekeeping.
Very cool. Wow.
So we have the option of 160 stores nationwide in the next 5 years. Have you looked up the Honeybee Girls?
No.
Okay, if you go to our website, honeybeegirls.org, we started out because of my head injury. I'm actually legally blind. And the kids came to me and said, Mom, hey, I think I found something that you might be able to do. Okay. And I love honeybees. I love to listen to them, and it's very therapeutic. I can sit there and just be happy. Then my dad passed away 2 years ago at the VA. That's how my mom got into it with us. The last thing my daddy had was a bottle of our honey. And so she said, what can we do with this, girls? And that is how we just developed. We're just changing the way that honeybee keeping and corporations are done. We're based around vets and disabled American citizens.
So you guys have your own. So you guys have your own. I guess it's like honeybee farm, or
yes, sir.
Okay.
Over 300 hives.
We have over 300 hives right now, but of course we're needing to get more. We work with women beekeepers nationwide. And the way we do this is it's actually off Facebook. So they come to us and say, hey, we're a woman beekeeper. We would like to sell our honey to you. We then have to send it off to get processed and confirmed that everything's okay with it. It's 100% all natural honey, U.S. honey. Then we put that same honey back in the same region it came out of. So you've got local honey. If you're in California, you get local honey, even though we're the Arkansas Honeybee Girls. We are the only company in the U.S. that's doing this.
Mm-hmm. So how much does 300 hives produce?
Not enough. Basically, 300 hives can do one store. So on a good year. Last year, it was rough on us because we had a drought in the South. And usually we get about 35 pounds of honey per hive, which is 1 5-gallon bucket. Mm-hmm. About a good hive, a good year, we get 1 bucket, okay? That bucket can be broke down into quarts, pints, and growlers. And here's one of our growlers that we do. It's just a different way of selling the honey.
So you get 10,000 pounds a year out of 3,000 or 300 hives and stuff like that.
Yes. About. Hopefully, yeah, generally.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, then like I said, the honeybee stores themselves, we have a lot of schools that's working with us nationwide because it is such a big schooling type thing. If they don't know about honeybees and educational purposes, we're all going to be hungry when we get older. We have to have honeybees. 2/3 of everything you eat, a honeybee pollinated.
Mm.
So 2 out of every 3 teaspoons.
Yeah, two out of every 3 teaspoons. So that's a lot. And
Wow.
I don't know about you, but I like to eat. So I don't want my grandbabies and my great grandbabies to be hungry because we wasn't taking care of the honeybees.
Right.
The honeybee girls themselves, like I said, you need to look up the website. Those girls, she actually developed, my daughter did. And we did a trademark on them. They are very brandable. People see us coming with our trailer and they come running. Kids, it doesn't matter. They love honeybee girls. So.
Okay, cool. So, so how many, so 10,000 pounds, how many like bottles does that create?
Depends on if we're doing quarts, pints, or growlers. I'll let Allie handle it.
Okay, so 10,000 pounds of honey will do 10,000 pints of honey, because a pint is exactly 1 pound. 10,000 pounds of honey will do 5,000 quarts of honey, because a quart is 2 pounds, and so on and so forth.
What do you sell a pint for? How much do you sell a pint for?
Our pints are $15. Okay. And that is, in the honey category, that is one of the most popular items that's sold because it's the medium size. Our quarts go for $22, and then our half pints, which we get about 20,000 half pints out of 10,000 pounds of honey, they go for $9.
Okay. And okay, cool. So where are you selling right now? On Amazon?
Right now we're predominantly online. So we sell on Amazon, we sell on our website, we sell on Etsy. But we did have a test store that we ran down in Little Rock, which is the capital of Arkansas. Yeah. I'll get you back to her.
It did really good, but we was just on a short lease because we wanted to test it before we did anything else. Because of that test store, we was then contacted by the Mall of America that's getting ready to open a new one, and it's called the American Dream.
American Dream.
And they have a space for us there. And then, like I said, there's another 160 stores, including in Honolulu. It's all over the U.S. And we can send all that to you with the projections out of each store. Basically, it's between 5 to 10 cents per head per capita.
Per capita in the region.
In the region is what the store is going to do.
Okay. Now, talk to me about the bees then. Hey, you're selling actual bees too?
Yes, sir. We sell the actual bees because why not? I mean, well, we actually grow the nukes. So we separate the hives out, okay? And they get 5 frames of live bees. When we bring them to you, we're actually bringing them to you, and they're not being shipped. We come to your house and we insert them into the bigger box, okay? So you get a hands-on learning experience. You understand what's going on. And at the same time, if you have any questions, we're just a phone call away. Yeah, we sell them online, and then we have people call us from all over the U.S., like seriously all over the U.S. We've sold
106 since the beginning of
106 since the beginning of this month.
Okay, and how many of those can you sell? Like, how many of those do you have available to sell?
We can do up to 2,000.
Up to 2,000, and would that get rid of your entire supply, or
no? Because they continue to make. We actually grow the queens, so each queen has to have 2,000 workers in order for her to survive. Okay, and basically what we do is we grow the queens, we give her 2,000 other bees, and put them in a box and let her grow. And then that's whenever they're ready to be moved into their bigger box.
This is so interesting. I've never ever heard anything. I've never heard this before. Wow.
It's something that is people get into it as a hobby, but I'll tell you, it's a very addictive hobby. You will love it if you ever do it. It is very.
You start out with 2 hives, you end up with 300.
Some people
you guys started out with 2, and now you have 300. Is that how that worked?
Yeah, we started out with 2, and now we're 300.
How quickly can that 300 duplicate?
Depends on how quick you're moving it. Okay, so 2 hives, you can split 3 times a year.
Yeah.
So
that turns into
6. Yeah.
Yeah, you could start with 2 hives in April, and then by October you can have 6 hives. It all depends on how.
So the 300, you could have 900 by the end of the year.
Correct. Yes, sir.
It all depends on how many bees the bees are producing, how much honey they're producing, how much pollen bread they're producing. And that normally comes directly from the weather. You know, if you have a good pollen flow, if you have good flowers, it depends on weather and location mostly.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't like to really ship to California. That's another thing. A lot of beekeepers do some extra things for extra money, and one of them is pollination services. So if you have a person that has the flu, and you put them in a classroom full of kids, what happens to the rest of the classroom? They're going to get the flu. Yeah. So we like to not send ours for pollination services to California because
80% of the United States bee population actually gets sent to California every single year for almond fields and orange pollination services. And so that's why I was saying a while ago, we encourage the backyard beekeeping. Technically we're on a commercial beekeeping level because how many hives we have, but because we don't send them off for pollination services, we're not considered commercial beekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we try to keep it with the mom pops, the backyard beekeepers. That is where we're going to be able to save honeybees. We've got people in Manhattan actually that just ordered nukes from us, and so I'm guessing I don't know where they're going to put them up on top of the. I don't know, but hey, it's fun.
You won't find me buying one. I'm scared of those things.
Oh, can you eat honey?
I love honey.
Okay. So the other thing with honey, honey never goes bad. There's no sugar on honey. So that's really fun. And, it's 1 teaspoon goes into the little honey straws. This is another thing we have.
Yeah.
And that's one bee's whole life.
For how long?
She only lives for 28 days.
Oh, a bee only lives that long?
Yeah. The worker bee only lives 28 days.
And what happens?
Now the queen, she gets worn out. The queen bee lives 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a great big difference there.
The queen lays upwards of 2,000 bees a day.
Yeah.
Does the queen bee look different than the worker bee, or?
Very big. She is about your pinky size, a little bit. Well, my pinky size. So
about 1 inch.
Yeah, about 1 inch.
Wow.
She's a big girl.
Wow.
Because the other ones are centimeters.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, what are you guys looking for?
Well, we're looking for a strategic partner, an investor. Of course, we would like to get on to QVC. We've got a lotion that I can't say it heals anything, but it works wonders, and it has honey in it, of course. And we also have the hair shampoo and conditioner and honey. To my knowledge, there's never been anybody on QVC that's had honey. Mm-hmm. So we would like to be able to do QVC.
We did pitch QVC once, a honey line of like skincare, and we couldn't get it to work.
Really?
Yeah. Doesn't mean anything. Just letting you know.
Yeah. So that's one of the things.
Yeah, there were a couple things. There were a couple things wrong with it, so it doesn't mean it won't work. Yeah.
But that's one of the things we'd like to do, as well as we need a strategic partner for shipping nationwide. Okay. It is a big deal for the movement of the bees and keeping it real. I mean,
but your supply, if I just did quick math in my head, like your supply with 300 hives is capped out at like $150,000 a year in sales or something like that, right?
Yes, that's correct. We actually have to get honey in for other women beekeepers across the nation.
So how do you how could you supply large scale orders?
We call the other beekeepers and buy it from them.
Are their product as good as yours?
Yes. We actually test everything before we purchase it. So there's some honeys that we will not sell.
They taste very venomous, if you will, or they're just, we like saying they have a strong honey flavor.
They're extremely potent. Some that are like the pepper honey from Florida, no.
Or blueberry honey.
We won't sell those. We only do wildflower honeys or clover.
Or floral
honeys. Floral taste. So that's going to be pretty much out of the center part of the U.S. Apple blossom honey tastes great.
So basically, you really want to ramp up? Is it the skincare, the beauty line, is what you really want to ramp up? Is that or
it's all of it.
Everything? Okay. Have you started selling the skincare line at all?
Yes, and we cannot keep it on the shelf. It goes so fast. When we had our store in Little Rock, we actually had this lady that came in. She came in 20 times at least, trying to get this same lotion. And so finally we started putting it in the little half-ounce containers.
We would restock it, because everything's handmade. It all has all natural products in it. So we would restock it every single morning because she's like, oh, I'll be back tomorrow, okay? Just keep me one. And we would have people coming in specifically for this lotion. And by the time she finally got in there, every single day, there wouldn't be any left for her, so...
Yeah, it's a big sale.
But you're continuously buying more because if you can't supply it yourself, you are continuously buying more supply.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the manufacturing, are you able to regardless of?
Yes.
So you're able to manufacture in large volumes?
Yes, sir. We actually have got a trailer that actually travels around the U.S. There's lots of parts of the Arkansas Honeybee Girls. When we started this, it was to go and process honey. So basically, we take the box of honey, we spin it out, and we put it into the jars and hand it back to the producer, okay? Then it evolved. We're steady learning and steady growing. So, yes, we can actually do it. We are USDA approved as well as Health Department approved, and we have a portable trailer that does this.
So if you get an order for, 5,000 units of your skincare line, could you create that right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How many units could you create?
Yes, sir. Looking at, you said skincare.
Which item?
What?
Which item?
I don't know I haven't seen your item, so I don't the skincare, whatever the skincare is.
Okay, so lotion, we could do 10 to 20,000 in a matter of a couple of days.
Oh, okay. Could you do hundreds of thousands in a couple weeks? Like,
yeah, yes.
So the supply is really not the issue then.
It's the money. It's the capital.
What would you use the money for?
Of course, more supplies and.
But do you need more supply right now? You have the orders or?
We've got several orders that we're working with. We actually went to Tractor Supply Company and pitched to them about a year and a half ago, and they're very interested in us, but they wanted to make sure that we had the ability to fulfill it. And that's nationwide. That's humongous.
Right, and that's what I'm asking too, right? So if Tractor Supply gives you an order for 100,000 units, could you fulfill that?
Only if we had the capital so that we can buy the merchandise. We can do it physically, yes, but we need.
The corporation itself has the capability.
Yeah, the corporation itself has the capability.
But we would have to have the capital to buy the supplies and buy the honey, and if it's bees, buy the bees to be able to do it.
Right. So have you ever gotten orders? Because if you get orders, then you can potentially get receivable financing or factoring or anything like that. So have you ever gotten orders like that from Tractor Supply or any other places or no?
Not yet. We're on Range Me, that platform so we can talk to people across the nation. But we've got pretty much it's small wholesale right now.
Mm-hmm.
So your mom and pop shops, and that's all the way. Go ahead.
No, I just said right. Okay. So all right. So you have a small wholesale. Then how do you know the big opportunities are there?
Because we've talked to them. We talked to several of them, and they're interested. But then we haven't followed through because we have to have the capital. I want to know that I can do it before I actually call them and say, "Hey, we're here now. Let's go with this."
So, but have you ever thought about funding it via purchase order, like getting purchase order financing, or?
Yes, sir. We've discussed that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking basically putting in retail stores, say Target or Walmart. The reason we wasn't touching Walmart is because they want to give us.
You mentioned Tractor Supply.
Yeah, TSC. We haven't.
We're our own brand.
Yeah, we're our own brand.
That's why we haven't really messed with the retail locations. The multi-nation retail locations or just the nationwide retail locations is because we have managed to brand ourselves with our bees and the products and our services that we provide. And so we kind of want to keep it, the Honeybee Girls, not the Honeybee Girls with Tractor Supply or the Honeybee Girls with Walmart.
Yeah, that's So that's why we haven't really gone back to TSC and we started opening our own stores.
Oh, so they wanted to kind of private label it almost?
Exactly. And so with us doing our own stores, we can have the honeybees in the stores. We're teaching, we're educating.
And we're spreading awareness about the declining bee population
at the same time
order to try to save the bees.
So, all right. So what would you use money for?
80,000 of it is for the honeybee sanctuary. We found 80 acres for 80,000 that there's nothing being sprayed around them. And we can then actually do a lot more of the nukes to sell the honeybees, of course. 35,000 for more bees, 30,000 for more honey, 35,000 for products such as our boxes, for more glasses like our growlers and pints, and then manufacturing facility and marketing.
How much for marketing?
We've got 55,000 down for marketing.
So how much are you looking for total?
Total, we're looking for 300,000.
Gotcha. Okay. So really, a lot of the money is going to ramping up the supply.
The current sale.
The supply.
Yes, sir.
Right. So you're ramping up the supply. How do you know the demand is there? I know you're saying that you could get it and this and that. Like, have you? Do you have any definitive opportunities, orders?
So like we said earlier, we have an opportunity to open 160 stores nationwide.
So those are your own stores, you're saying?
Yes, our own stores within malls. So like the Mall of America or promenades, if you know, outdoor malls.
Who finances that? Because that's expensive.
Us, we do.
That's very expensive to open up 160.
It's 50,000 per store.
It's 50,000 per store. Yeah. But we had such a high success rate at, and we're in Arkansas, population really isn't here. But in the capital, we had such a high success rate with our store that we found per capita in Little Rock, each person spent roughly 10 cents. If you break down how much we made throughout the few months that we were there. Yeah.
So, and we've actually got information from the USDA on how many people eat honey, consume honey. It is 62%, I believe. 62% of United States citizens actually consume honey.
And the ones that don't use honey-related products like the lotions, shampoos, conditioners, soap.
So we're going off of numbers from the USDA themselves.
And most people buy that honey at large retailers because it's convenient. You're walking through price hardly ever plays a role in honey because it's such an all-natural product. It's a health-conscious food, if you will. You're walking through the store, you see honey, you're like, oh, hey, yeah, I could use more of that. And you just grab it.
That's
but what you don't know about the store honey is it's not necessarily real honey. Right. There was a huge scandal in 2007, I believe.
2007, 2008.
And it had to do with Chinese honey.
They were mixing it down with corn syrup, 75% corn syrup, 25% honey, and they would import it to the United States. Well, 2 years later, everybody found out, hey, we're not eating actual honey. So our importing for Chinese honey ended up getting cut off. Now they're shipping it down. We have facilities now that can determine if there's corn syrup in it, which is what we say whenever we say we send it off to get it checked. Now they're mixing it down with rice syrup in order to thin down the honey or sugar water.
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes it more difficult for people to know what they're buying. At least when they come into our store, we can show them. We've got paperwork from the Department of Health in Texas that says, look, this is true honey. There is nothing added, and we know what we're talking about.
So your store, you have a store right now, right? You have one store?
We do not have a pop-up. It was a pop-up store just to see. We was testing.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Interesting. So I've never really been in this category of product before. Sounds interesting. It seems like there's a lot of opportunities here. You're selling honey, you're selling bees, you're selling skincare, hair care. You have a store.
All of the above.
You have a store, which is interesting to me because we do a lot of franchising also. So we know that world very, very well. And that could be a way to go. If you could sell franchises of your store, and that could fund everything. I mean, people use franchises to fund their businesses by selling franchises. So It's interesting. A lot of interesting things here. What I need to do is I need to understand like everything, right? Because I want to see the products, because like you made one comment about like you can't prove, you can't really make any claims, which is an issue, because if you go on QVC and just imagine going on QVC, you're selling a skincare cream, you can't say anything about it, right? If you haven't gotten any testing on it, like, oh, this is a skincare cream with honey, right? You can't say it does anything because you're not allowed to, unless you have clinical tests or you have certain tests done, right? So that could be, and I get it, right? I mean, because like it's funny, that's kind of like the CBD world nowadays. I don't know if you guys ever tune into CBDs.
Yes, that's another avenue we have had.
You can't say anything about it. You can't make any claims. You can't say anything. It's just kind of utilizing general knowledge, and what people think about it,
Exactly.
But it's interesting. I like the story. There's a cool story here, especially with, the family and all that, because, story is always like one of the most important things, right? And
yes, sir.
And how you can play the emotions and, and play the emotions of the consumer, because that's important, and getting them to buy into the brand and the message is very important. So I need you to send me a few things. I want to see the skincare products, the hair care. Send me a link to the website.
Okay.
Any pictures? I'd like to see what the pop-up store looked like, or looks like. I don't know if it's still up, but see some pictures of the store.
Okay.
Pictures of the bees, pictures of the hive. Branding, packaging of the honey.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, send that all to me. Also send me like what you need the money for, what you're looking for. What you need the money for. Also,
yes, sir.
Because I think there's a lot of different directions you could go with this. Honestly, it sounds like it, which is pretty cool. Yeah, let me take a look at it. I'll show I'll talk to our team about it. I don't really know yet, though. It's kind of like it's interesting, right? There's a cool thing to this, but I don't. Like it's I don't know. It's something we gotta like look into.
Okay.
My email is Brian Brian. Can you jot this down now?
Yeah, Allie's writing it down.
All right, Brian Brian at kevinharrington.tv. So send me all that stuff. I mean, we sell a lot of stuff on QVC and HSN, retail, online. Like I said, we do franchises. Never sold bees. never sold.
There's a first time for everything.
Hey,
Well,
if
fun
you can
things
make it,
is
you could sell it, right?
Barbie came out last year.
What?
The honeybee Barbie came out last year. You showed them the honeybee Barbie, Allie. So, come on. Even the Barbie does honeybees, right?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. My daughter would like that. Cool. So send me that stuff, and then let's touch base, because I just need to look more into it.
Yes, sir. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much. All right, yes, great stuff. Thanks for being on here. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm sorry, we're having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, thanks for coming on Pitch Investors Live. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.